Hey guys, my name's Geigerman, and I am here to bring you a guide on campaign mission 917, the last campaign mission of the normal campaign. First thing, we're going to take a look at the monster list, and the most important thing we're going to take a look at is actually the boss. It's all we really care about. Just a side note, you're going to want to bring heroes that do as much damage as possible. And we will get into that here shortly. So first of all, the boss has two phases. So phase 1 and phase 2. We take a look at the creator. So in phase 1, just a couple important skills to kind of take note of. Energy barrage. He's going to launch 3 bursts at the last deployed hero within 3 tiles. We're going to kind of use that to an advantage in the way that I do it. We'll talk about that once we get into the fight. Whenever a hero uses their ultimate, it's going to trigger his energy absorption, where he's going to build basically an ultimate bar, and then he will release his ultimate. Energy current, so every roughly 20 seconds or so, he's going to do a massive magic damage AoE attack across the field. It is the entire arena. And then other than that, his ultimate, which is Crystalline Meteorite. So he's going to cast his Meteorite at a random hero. It's completely RNG. It's going to target, so if the hero is placed right here, it's going to be 1 tile all around the hero. And it is going to one-shot just about any unit. So, quite honestly, if it does not target the right unit the first time you do it, you're going to want to restart, or else it's going to mess you up for the second phase. Speaking of the second phase, take a look at that real quick. So his twin star is going to target the 2 heroes, hero with max HP, lowest and highest. So the one with the lowest max HP is going to do an AoE attack, does a lot of damage. The one with the highest HP is just going to be a single target physical attack. Doesn't hurt too bad. Other than that, he's going to corrupt random tiles. He's also going to corrupt tiles he walks upon. Again, we're going to want to bring as much damage as possible, so that way we don't have to worry about his tile mechanic. The end-time chant, not going to have to really worry about this right now. That you'll see once it happens, but basically after you kill the boss, you go into his end-time chant phase. His other kind of things to take note is all corrupted tiles will explode, which is why we want to avoid that by doing as much damage as possible. Also, the boss targets the last placed hero with an attack. So you kind of, when you place your units down, you want to place them very strategically, but he has basically an attack he does that will target the last one. I don't see it in here, but you'll kind of see from the gameplay that I'll place my tanks down after I drop units, so that way I can bait his attack to not kill the units that I place. So let's go ahead and talk about the heroes that we're going to use. For me, this might be different for you. Wrath is kind of a must-have, must-take. It's just because you're going to need him to kill the mages. You should have him by the time you get to this mission, and should be mid to end game, more towards the end game. But my Wrath isn't anything special, so he's not super geared out. He is in a decent set of Soulbound Arcana. Not the best set. Crit damage, attack, and attack. And as you can see, not the best rolls. He's got yellow left side. He does the job I need him to do. He's got just about crit cap. He's got a good amount of crit damage. And then he has a decent amount of attack speed. Not kind of where I would want him. Definitely want him a little bit better. He is very important in this. Olog, I mean, as long as you stack HP, he's going to get the job done. Valeria is pretty important. She's going to be semi-geared out for me, so No set on the left, just haven't got anything better. On the right, we have a decent set of Infernal Roar. Taking a look, it is crit damage, attack, attack, one piece, no purple rolls on it, so I mean you can get away with not having the best gear, but you're going to want to be just about crit capped and have a decent amount of crit damage as well as a decent amount of attack speed. Another MVP here is going to be Silas. My Silas is kind of stacked, so as long as you have a big pumper, you should be okay. Again, he's pretty stacked. He's got a great amount of attack speed. He's got, I try to aim for just over 90% crit, but you want a good amount of crit, and you want a solid amount of crit damage. He's over 300% crit damage, so he definitely gets the job done. He is Infernal Roar. And the last most important piece is going to be Vortex. Vortex, you just want to make sure you stack as much HP as possible, and then you should be good. So mine is just over 40k. Kind of what you need, and you'll understand why once we get into that. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the fight. So, like I mentioned, with Vortex, you want at least 40k. I do drop him in the beginning, so I can build his ultimate up. It is kind of how I play into his ultimate mechanic, so that way I can shield my heroes. Got to prevent them from dying. He also has just enough to survive the burst. You'll see that I put Wrath in the top left, so that way he can take out the mage. Those mages do a ton of damage, and then Olag's going to go down, so that way the unit that comes out is not going to go anywhere. Once Wrath gets his kill, you're going to go ahead and pick him back up. As soon as the burst goes off, we're going to drop Valeria and Silas, so that way they can pump. And then I am going to drop Arrogance as well, because I do want to try to bait his attack off of my two most important heroes. Though it is random, so the more heroes I have down, the better chance it's not going to hit Valeria and Silas, because I want them for phase 2. That attack targeted Valeria. I ulted with Vortex to shield to protect Arrogance. Nobody died. I got really lucky. If somebody would have died, I honestly would have just restarted until I had a clean run. So we're going to get into phase 2. Once we get into phase 2, we are going to deploy Vortex. And then we want to deploy Wrath as soon as possible to stall the mage. And then after that, we're going to deploy Olag. So I'm going to go ahead and drop Vortex. I'm going to bait the boss's attack so I can drop Wrath, and then we're going to drop Olag, so that way you're going to notice when the boss doesn't attack here in a second, it's just going to be a circular little dot. It's not the cross. It's going to target Olag since we placed him last. Wrath is doing his job in holding the boss in place. There's the attack we baited. And now we are going to drop all of our DPS units. Again, our last deployed hero needs to be somebody that can take a hit. So we're going to drop Valeria, tank the boss. And then we are going to drop Silas, and we are going to drop Aelin. I drop Aelin mainly because she's a 6 cost healer. She's very cheap, and she'll be able to protect my units just enough so that way they don't die. However, she is definitely the lowest HP, being an attack-based healer, so she's about to get smashed. And then once Silas's ult is roughly there, I'm going to pop him and Valeria at the same time, and they're just going to nuke the boss down. We'll pop Arrogance down just so that way he can help push a little bit of damage before we push his last phase. And then we're going to get to the boss's Endless Chant phase, so he's going to have a shield that we're going to have to take down. All of our units are going to be available. The only death that we really did have was Aelin. She died right there towards the end. So we're going to go ahead and pop Valeria down. We're going to pop Arrogance down. And we're going to pop Silence down. After that, really just, we'll put Vortex down just to kind of heal, but there's no damage. My units had enough HP to kind of finish off. And then there we go. hopefully that kind of helped you guys out. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will try to get them answered for you. Thanks for watching.